here are top 10 beginner tips for people who want to look into Pokemon investing. If you've clicked on this video, it's either because you watch my content and you're just watching this new one, which thank you, or you've clicked on it because you are interested in investing and you just want some beginner tips before you jump into it, or maybe you've jumped into it recently and you just want to sharpen your skills. But without further ado, let's begin. I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for the support. You guys are honestly amazing. My channel is just doing so phenomenal lately, which is really, really great. It actually makes it where I can actually afford to buy new equipment and make the quality better. So I really appreciate it, guys. But if you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing. But let's begin. So these are absolutely in importance. So number 10 being less important than number 1. But number 10 is that rarity does not automatically mean it will be valuable. You can have something that's been printed a lot and it will be worth more than something that isn't printed as much. A great example is Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames caught way less reprints and restocks than Paldea Evolved. Which one is on top? It's Paldea Evolved. It's because it has more demand. So if you have this mentality that you're buying something because it gets short printed, I would recommend you try to, walk away from that, because you shouldn't be buying something because you believe the supply will be short. You should buy something because you believe that it will do really well in the long term. A great example is 151 booster bundles. I believe that is the most reprinted item in all of Pokemon. That item has gotten reprinted, or at least in Scarlet and Violet. That single item has gotten reprinted so much, yet it still remains so strong in price. And I kid you not, if there's no restock for more than like 2 months, it already starts doubling in price. It already starts going up. It just does absolutely phenomenal. So you want to buy stuff that, yeah, it can be reprinted a lot, but there's a reason why it's being reprinted. It's because it has a lot of demand. You don't want to buy something because it will be short printed. You don't want to buy Obsidian Flames because it was short printed. You don't want to speculate that a specific collection box could be short printed. A specific item could get short printed. You always want to stick with the good stuff. Now, maybe here and there you hit it off. You buy a 151 ETB, never gets a reprint, and you're laughing, which is fantastic. But the problem is that there's always speculation that an item will get short printed, this will get short printed, that will get short printed. At the end of the day, you might hit it a couple times, but you're way better off just taking the safe bet and buying what you know works. So I guess 151 ETB was a bad example because 151 ETBs do well to begin with, but maybe Obsidian Flames ETBs, that was a short printed item. So you hit it off there, but then maybe you speculate that, I don't know, Surging Sparks will get short printed and then it just doesn't. So you always want to focus on buying the best quality items. Rarity does not actually mean it's just automatically valuable. And a great example is Master Balls. A great example is gold cards. Those are cheap cards, yet they are the hardest cards to pull in the set. People more or less care about the alt arts, not really the gold cards. That's why I'm very interested to watch this Lucario's price, because at the end of the day, it's a gold card. It's more than the alt art, yeah, it's a gold card. So it's going to be very interesting to watch to see how that does, but yeah. Alrighty, number 9 is avoid bulky items and avoid bulky collections. These collection boxes, dude, these honestly, more or less, a display, to be honest. If it were up to me, I would probably just sell all of those. 151 booster bundles, 151 mini tins, 151 UPC, ETBs. These are good quality products. Now, some of them have already gone up a lot because they're a good quality product, like Pokemon Center ETBs or normal Elite Trainer boxes. But then some items you've got some more room for it to grow, like the UPC and the booster bundle. Those have really, really good potential to do really well in the long term. I mean, all of them do, but more growth in those ones, right? Collection boxes does not sit with them whatsoever. The only exception that you would buy collection boxes is pretty much because it's a holiday set. Now, assuming you're a beginner, you would not... Now, the thing is, holiday set premium collection boxes can actually do decent, not amazing, but they can do decently well. And the reason is because those booster packs inside will only be found in items dedicated to that set. For example, Blooming Waters, you only get 151 packs. Sea and Sky, you only get Crown Zenith packs. You're not seeing Crown Zenith packs in a Team Rocket Mewtwo box. You're not seeing Crown Zenith packs in this. You're not seeing Shrouded Fable packs in this. You're only seeing main class sets in this. So that's the only exception on buying collection boxes. But a general rule of thumb is that you never really want to stick to bulky items. You never really want to stick to big items, but also difficult to move. Alright, number 8 is do not get too comfortable on where you store your cards or your really anything. You don't want to get too comfortable. And the reason is because at the end of the day, if you invest in something, realistically, you're going to hold on to it for a long time. If it's no more than a year, I would probably more or less call that a trade rather than a investment, or I would also maybe label that a swing trade, but I would not label that an investment. An investment is not really supposed to be bought for 1 year and sold. I mean, if we're looking like traditional investments like gold, stocks, you would be laughed at if you're like, yeah, I bought a house, I plan to hold it for a year, and then I don't know, I might offload it. Like, you would genuinely get laughed at. So the same mentality is here, right? At the end of the day, why do we invest in Pokemon? We invest in Pokemon to make a lot of money. We don't invest in Pokemon once we're up 50%. We don't think, hey, should I sell? No, most people who invest in Pokemon, they want to be here for the big bucks. If you buy a boost box for $200, you want to be selling that in 10 years' time for $1,000 or $1,500. That's what people want. That's why we invest in Pokemon. Let's be real for a second. Investing in Darkness Ablaze is incredibly risky. Not specifically Darkness Ablaze, it's just the closest thing I had to use as an example. But think about it. Investing in trading cards is so risky of itself. Why would you risk only holding it for a year? Wouldn't you want to maximize your gains? Because this is my logic. Instead, wouldn't it be better to just hold something that can give similar gains? For example, let's just say you buy an Evolved Coast booster box for $1,000, goes up to $1,500, and you start considering should you sell it. In that case, you should just buy a traditional investment, because a traditional investment could do that in maybe, 5 years? But the difference is that you're pretty much not going to lose your money. The reason why I invest in Pokemon is to make a lot of money. It's not to make 30% or 40%. It's genuinely to make like 300% or 400%. So my point is, you're going to be in it for a while. In theory, you're going to be in it for a while. Most people won't. Most people will be out of this industry by a year, right? Like, the amount of people, don't get comfortable with the people that you're in this industry with. If you actually stick around, every year or so, everybody will refresh. Every Discord group you're in, every Facebook group you're in, I've seen it time and time and time again. You see group chats of maybe 20 people, you get familiar with all their names, within a year, it'll all just be replaced by new people, because that's just how this hobby is. People are constantly coming and going. Now, my point is, if you are actually committing to be in this industry for a good while, your boxes will get damaged. And this is what someone actually brought up in a video of mine. This guy made a fantastic point. He was saying the thing about collection boxes is that you will be greatly rewarded if you hold this collection box and you don't let it get damaged. The reason is because collection boxes are so easy to damage. I mean, take this little flap here, we've got these corners here. This can very easily get damaged. And let's be real for a second. No one is really making acrylic cases or protectors for every single individual collection box. It's not worth it. So you're left in this gray area where you can't really protect it with like a case. It's super soft. I mean, it's literally cardboard. This means in 5 years or 10 years time, all of these that are perfect condition will go for like $500. And the reason is because it was so hard to protect. My point is, do not be comfortable when it comes to your investments. You don't want to think that like, all right, they're on my shelf, happy days. Because can they fall over? Can something bump it? Do you live in a household with a pet? Do you live in a household with kids that would be notorious to breaking it or touching it? You need to make sure that you eliminate all of these problems one way or another. Alrighty, number 7 is adapt to the market and listen to numbers, not people. A lot of people in this space want something, so then they will tell you not to pick the other side. A great example is supporting scalpers. A lot of people say, don't buy from scalpers, only buy at retail, don't support scalpers. Now, in the collecting space, sure, that's valid, I guess. But in the investing space, that's really, really, really bad advice. Saying to not buy off of the secondary market and only hunt retail deals is a horrible recommendation. And I'll tell you why. Even if you get lucky and you find 151 in stores, the limit is 1 per person. What are you going to do? Invest in an item that's worth $40 and then sell it in 2 years for $80? What? That makes no sense. Like that, the logic there is thinking small-minded in a sense, because maybe if you're starting out and you just want to trial out buying and you get lucky and see one bundle and that's quite literally all you want, you just want one booster bundle of say 151, all right, that's valid. Sure, I guess buy it for retail. But if you want to invest in large volumes being 40, 50, 60, 70 bundles, you can't do that. It's not feasible. It's not sustainable. So these people try to scare you and say, don't buy off scalpers, don't support these people. At the end of the day, the numbers speak for themselves. These people will say that you'll lose money if you buy it off scalpers and you're going to waste money, you're going to get washed out. Okay, well, let's look at the numbers. Anybody who bought Surging Sparks booster boxes off of scalpers selling it at MSRP or $10, $20 over MSRP, those people are all embarrassed right now. They're silent. They're hiding in their corners because they told people, hey, don't buy Surging Sparks. Wait for it to be in stores. Wait for it to be on sale. Oh, sorry, is it on sale? Because when Surging Sparks came out, it sold out within pretty much the first day. Okay, and then it kept creeping up for the next month. People kept saying, don't buy, don't buy, don't buy. And then now they're not speaking. Now they're not saying anything. You know why? Because it went up and they were wrong. So if you listen to these kinds of people, then you would have been out on your money. Now, of course, there is some truth in the fact that, yeah, you shouldn't buy a brand new product on the release date. Obviously, no crap, right? You shouldn't buy prismatic SBCs on the release day. But prismatic SBCs is a fantastic buy now. And a lot of people say not to buy prismatic, wait for prismatic SPCs to be reprinted, wait for the print wave, wait for it to go to MSRP. I don't think it will. And not only that, at the end of the day, if that prismatic SPC ends up being worth $1,000, who cares whether you pay $200 or $150 or $170? Who cares? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's not like buying off of scalpers means you're paying $1,000 per box. Like realistically, you're only paying like no more than 2x the retail. But at the end of the day, if that means that item will end up 10xing retail, who cares? Just go ahead and buy it. Now, my point isn't to not try to get it for retail. My point is that a lot of people will say certain things and say, this is how you should do it, this is how you should do it. But you know what you can do? You can just look at numbers. Look how Surging Sparks did. Look at how other past sets. What about Evolving Skies? People always said, wait for a reprint, wait for a reprint. Okay, where's the reprint? Is it going to come? Because I'm waiting. And not only that, it's $2,500 a booster box. I'm waiting for that reprint. Where's that reprint everybody was telling me about? I mean, is it going to bring it down to retail? I don't think it's going to get a reprint. I don't see it getting a reprint. It's literally impossible for it to get a reprint. But all these people were saying, wait for the reprint. So then if you listen to those people versus looking at the numbers, then you would be out on your money. Alright, number 6 is using past performance to predict future performance. This is something that is heavily frowned upon in the investing space, pretty much for most things. You can't do this for real estate. Oh, actually, I don't know if you can. I'm not that educated in real estate, so I wouldn't really know. But you can't do this for stocks. You can't do this for crypto. You can't do this for gold. You can't do this for a lot of stuff. Silver could have had a complete run-up in a decade, and then people could say, alright, well, it had a run-up in this decade. I think in the next decade it's going to have a run-up. Silver is actually a used material. It is used for certain things. And silver has a history of spiking when wars happen. So then you look at that and you can't really use that to predict future performance. Like, there's no history you can use to predict future performance. You shouldn't do that, right? Pokemon is one of the only assets where you can realistically predict the future's performance by looking at the past. Evolving Skies is a great example. Evolving Skies had a lot more demand when it came out than Astral Radiance or Darkness Ablaze or Silver Tempest, right? So then you can predict that Evolving Skies will do really well. A great example is Twilight Masquerade. This is actually a fantastic example. There was I want to say 3 to 4 month period where Twilight Masquerade was the same price being MSRP as all the other Pokemon sets in Scarlet Violet. Twilight Masquerade was the most liked one. If someone made a video opening up Temporal Forces versus Twilight Masquerade, you could see Twilight Masquerade got way more views. Twilight Masquerade was way more preferred. Now, you could have looked at this and gone, alright, they're both at MSRP, however, this one is more popular. So what I can do is I'm going to buy this one because the past performance will predict the future performance. A great example is Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved came out in 2023 and it's gone up, it's shot up, it's done quite well for itself. So then you can look at that. You can see Paldea Evolved took this many months to shoot up. Okay, 151 is, I don't know, what, 6-7 months older than Paldea Evolved. So then that means since Paldea Evolved has jumped up in like May-ish, then that means 151 should shoot up late this year or early next year. So you can use past performance to really figure out when sets will actually go up. Obviously, you can't do it completely accurate. Anything can happen, but using past performance in this industry is like the number one thing you can do. All right, number 5 is do not buy loose packs. By any means, avoid loose packs. I'm gonna make this simple because I actually talk about this a lot, so I'm gonna make it very quick. But just look at Evolving Skies. That's the only chart you need to look at. Look at the chart of booster packs versus booster boxes. I don't need to say anything else. It speaks for itself. Alright, number 4 is only buy off of good sources. Any money that you would save by buying off of crappy sources will instantly get wiped out from one bad transaction. What do I mean by that? Well, good sources generally have a premium. Generally, you'll have to buy a booster box for 10% or 15% above other sources. However, the same time, that means that you get that security that you're going to have a good transaction. Great example is I bought a Temporal Forces booster box for $90 of this guy on Facebook, and he took forever to ship it. It arrived not damaged. It was packaged quite bad, but also the condition of the box was really poor. So all of these things, like, I left the transaction with a bitter taste in my mouth. Now, I could have bought a Temporal Forces booster box off of a trading card store for, what, 110, 120 USD, but the difference is that I would have that security that it would be in good condition. Now, Temporal Forces booster boxes go for, like, what, 200 or 250 or however much they go for. So you look at that and go, oh, okay, I spent an extra $20 per booster box. Mine is perfect condition. It's mint. It's authentic. Everything about it is fine. When you buy off of bad sources, all that $20 that you save will just be outweighed and immediately lost by one bad transaction. All it takes is one bad transaction, one scam, one chargeback, one shipping getting lost, anything can happen, and it'll just immediately wipe out all of that money you saved. Alrighty, number 3 is to stick to the good stuff. Now, if you are new to investing, you're probably hearing a lot of opinions. You're probably hearing people say to buy Temporal Forces because it's underrated, buy Scarlet and Violet Base because it's underrated, buy realistically anything because it's underrated. If you want my simple advice on what to invest in, this is what I would do if I were you. I would look on YouTube, I would look on subreddits, get the 3 top most popular sets from that era and just buy those. Literally just buy those. So what's my top 3? My top 3 is Prismatic, Paladin Fates, and Destiny Rails. That's my top 3. 151 is a strong number 4, but I think those are my top 3, right? So then, in my opinion, I think you should only buy those 3. They will have their own unique hits, their own unique cards that make them great. Destined Rails is Team Rocket. Prismatic Evolutions is Evolutions. Paladin Fates is shiny and popular Pokemon, such as Mew, Charizard, in their shiny format. All of these sets are fantastic sets. Now, maybe you can widen it to 15. I mean, Scarlet and Violet is actually a pretty big era. There are a lot of sets in this era. Oh my goodness, the amount of sets. I think there's only like 11 sets in Sword and Shield versus Scarlet and Violet, where there's like 14 or 13, it's something like that. So there will be some more bangers in here, but a general rule of thumb is like the top 5. Great example is Sword and Shield. If you invested in the top 3, that would be Lost Origin, Fusion Strike, and Evolving Skies, you would be sitting on way less gains, right? At the end of the day, there's no reason to buy any other ones. You will do just fine buying Destiny Rails Booster Box, Prismatic Evolution Elite Trainer Box, Paladin Fates Booster Bundle, right now in this market. Why those 3? Well, Destiny Rails Booster Box is the premium. Prismatic ETBs are really cheap right now, and Paladin Fates Booster Bundles are really cheap right now. Those 3 items, you'll do just fine. You will outperform 90% of people investing in this market right now if you just buy literally those 3 items. I can't make a full video just dedicated on those 3 items, but if you really want, there you go. Just buy those 3 items. You'll literally do just fine. Literally, I hate when people say it actually pisses me off, but when people say, put it in a closet, forget about it for 10 years later and thank me later, it actually pisses me off because they're acting like they were the genius investor. It doesn't take a genius to figure out Destined Rails Booster Boxes is going to be a good investment, right? However, I will just say that in this one time, put it in a closet, forget it for 10 years and thank me later. Like, literally, I hate when people say that, but I can't believe I'm using it, but I am. This guy on Facebook, I just love this guy so much. I just saw his random post. This guy never posts at all in Facebook groups. And he just made a post saying, hey guys, just digging out my XY evolutions out of my closet. He said, am I rich yet? Can I buy a house? Everybody said, no, put it back in the closet. And they said, all right, thanks guys. Put it back in the closet, and he forgot about it. That's like the exact definition of what you want to do. Buying 100 booster boxes, good luck holding it. Good luck holding 100 booster boxes. I'd love to see you hold that for 10 years. You're not going to. Most people don't have the capital to tie away for 10 years. So you're going to do far better by buying like 3 or 4, but being able to hold on to it for a decade. You're going to do way better. This guy has an X and Y Evolutions booster box. It's not killing him. He bought it for $150 when it released, or maybe even less considering how cheap it got. Now it's worth, what, $2,000? Okay, so he takes it out. He says, hey guys, can I buy a house with this? No? Oh, okay, all right, I'll put it back. Okay, I'll put it back in the closet. I'll forget about it, come back in 10 years. Genius, absolutely smart guy. That's what you want to do. People just try so hard, tracking charts, coming up with a reason. Okay, so Temporal Force is up 3% this month. Why is it up 3%? Well, it's because it has a Modix Conviction. Modix Conviction has a Gengar in there, and Gengar is going to be in the next, Mega Evolution set? So I guess Temporal Forces could be doing quite well. Like, people just try too hard. Alrighty, number 2 is don't sell sealed under market. Now, I would understand if you want to buy slabs under market. Talking about slabs, I'm just going to quickly flex what I got today, just in case any of you fellas are in Australia, or if you just I don't know, want to pay $50 in shipping because you like paying a lot in shipping, I got a slab submission in. Now, I'll get to this in a second, but basically, you can sell sealed at full market. It's not hard to move sealed. I would understand selling a Lucario PSA 9 for 70% of market price or 80% of market price. In fact, I have made a couple posts. I submitted, this bulk of cards. It's like what, 4, 5K worth of cards. I said to people, I said, hey, you want to buy 70%? You want to make some money? Buy these slabs. You know why? Because I can't be bothered selling these myself. Some cards I bought for $6. Submission costs what, $25? So my up cost is like $35, and I can sell a card for like $170. Okay, yeah, sure, dude. If you want to take it for $140, you can take it. Like if people want to buy it like under market, they can if they take the whole lot, for the sole reason that I don't want to bother selling all these. If you're selling sealed, at the end of the day, it's not hard to sell. You can sell it within like an hour. Great example is Evolving Skies. I'll use this example again. I wanted to list 2 Evolving Skies booster boxes because a mate of mine hit me up and said that he had an Evolving Skies booster box case. And he said, hey man, I've got one for sale. Let's do a deal. Let me sell it to you. I was like, all right, done. Let's do it. So I wanted to just offload my 2 loose Evolving Skies booster boxes because if I had a case, I didn't really want 2 loose ones. And I just wanted it to just fund the Evolving Skies booster box case and just, ease the bank account a bit. Just ease it a bit, right? So I wasn't busting my ass trying to buy the box, right? Not even an hour of listing them, I had sold both of those 2 Evolving Skies booster boxes. Within an hour, I sold them after listing them. It's not difficult to sell it. I sold it at market price. It's not hard. Anyways, I've got some cards here. This is just a random sign out. I'll just put a little text like where you can skip if you just can't be bothered. But if you're in Australia and you want any, these are all like PSA 9s if you want like PSA 9 promos. And I've got like a ton of Crown Zenith. These are all PSA 10 English Crown Zenith. If you want them, it's kind of difficult to get a good perspective. But yeah, if you want this, I got these. And I got these 2, which is PSA 10. And I got some sweet ones. I got this Mew. I'm so happy that it got a 10, but I got these as well. And then I just have this stack of Lucario promos. Who remembers, man, if you remember that video, please comment on this video. Basically, I made a video basically talking about how the Lucario promo is blowing up. And I said to people, I said, hey guys, if we'd be able to pump this one up for like $500 a PSA 10, then that'd just be great because I have 10 of them. All of these are 10s if you want them. I mean, if you're in Australia, just hit me up. I got like 10 of these. I submitted 12 and 10 of them came back as 10s. So that's pretty sweet. Now, in this instance, if someone hit me up and they hit me up and said, yo, Sam, you've got 10 Lucario 10s. All right, they go for, I don't know, making up numbers here, $140 USD. I'll give you 110. I would say, let's do it. Let's go for it. And the reason is because I can't be bothered selling 10 all by myself. This is going to take a good while to sell. Could take a couple weeks. I'd rather just sell it cheaper, but get it instantly. Now, that is if you're up a lot on your money. You need to remember that each one of these quite literally costed me under like $30 USD. These all go for like 100 and I don't know what, $40, and I got 10 of them. So I'm happy to take $20 off or $10 off or $30 off. But for sealed, no, you always want to sell sealed at market. Alrighty, number 1, this is my final tip. Always dollar cost average in and always dollar cost average out. We are only human. We will make mistakes, and dollar cost averaging is the best way to eliminate making as many mistakes as possible. A great example is Sword and Shield. I will use this example. I don't like talking about a whole ton, but I'll use it just so you guys can learn off of it. I had so much Sword and Shield. If I was still holding out to this day, I would be, I don't know, driving a Lambo, I guess. I don't know. It wouldn't be enough money to buy a Lambo, but I don't know. I guess I'd buy like a BMW or something, I guess. But anyways, the point is, I had a lot of inventory, and instead of dollar cost averaging out, I just dumped it all in one day. If I dollar cost averaged out and sold like 1 box a week, I would have made like 3x my returns. You know why? Because I had so many boxes, and let's just say I sold 1 a week, I would have been able to be selling them consistently for like a year. Yeah, about a year. I'd be able to sell boxes for, if I sold one every single week, I'd be able to sell for a year. But in that year time frame, all those boxes went up like 3x in price. Dollar cost average out and dollar cost average in. You don't want to just buy, a great example is my mate of mine. He bought Japanese 151 booster boxes for 220 USD each. This was years ago. He bought like 300 units. Dude, the next month they got reprinted and went just straight down to like $70 USD. I think the lowest it ever went to was like $60 USD. It didn't hold for that long, but it was like floating around the 100 range USD for 151 booster boxes. Mate, that guy should have dollar cost averaged in. If he bought 1 a week or 2 a week, he would have been laughing. I mean, we're talking like, you really should dollar cost average in, but then dollar cost averaging out is so important. The only way I'd say dollar cost averaging out is not important is when you're dumping on the market on a very hot item. This Macca's promo here, I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. Yes, did I buy 60 promos? Yes. Am I going to sell them the second I get them? Yes. Am I up 2x on my returns? Yes. I don't care. That was an in and that was an out. I could see that card was going to go up. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of us saw it. However, you know what the game is with that one? The game is whoever dumps it first wins. That's literally how it is. Whoever sells first wins. It's literally like playing hot potato. The suspense keeps growing until boom, eventually someone sells. And then yeah, it's like a bubble, right? It's almost like everyone blows a little bit of air into a bubble, everybody all gets comfortable, and then one day it's just going to pop. This card will probably crash. Now, even if it goes up to like $100, I don't really care. I'm just going to be on with my life, right? But the point is, I'm already up 2x on my returns in the span of like 2 days. Of course, I'm going to sell it immediately. But for most cases, use $1 cost average your way out. But yeah, guys, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want a part 2 and I can think of any other tips, I will. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.